Good evening. Hello. Welcome in to those of you who have managed not to melt away in the state of Missouri here in mid July. Appreciate you hanging out with us on a Tuesday night. I had a personal commitment last night, so we changed things up, moved to Tuesday. We will normally be with you on Monday. Most nights, this is State of the Tigers. Normally, I do like a long 30, 45-second read about our sponsor for this show. But I'm just going to tell you to get in touch with our sponsor, James Carlton, State Farm Insurance. You can do that online at carltoninsurance.net. You can do it by phone at 314-961-4800. And instead of me reading a long commercial, we have two guys up on the screen. Jarod Hamilton, but James Carlton, the other guy. James, do you want to do your own ad read? Do you have a commercial prepared for these people?
I mean, for your audience, I would just say, hey, I'm just another big Tiger fan. Unless your insurance is with your friend, your mother, your brother, give us a chance, right? That's all we ask. And if it makes sense, great. If it doesn't make sense, we're still going to contribute to Mizzou's NIL on your behalf. And I could say Mizzou's NIL now because they gave me permission to use some of their IP this season. So I'm thrilled about that.
Okay, so let's start with that because for the last couple of years, you've been, people call and get a quote. You've been donating $25 to go toward those efforts. I don't know exactly how that's worked. It's been a little back and forth. So
Right.
What can you tell us about your efforts and what you're going to do going forward?
Well, it was Every True Tiger. That was the branding, and that's still an entity. But then it switched. Like when you'd log in for your viewers and listeners, it would be under TSF. I think is the Tiger Fund, and maybe it still is currently. Mm-hmm. And then Brad, and I always butcher his last name. Is it Larondo?
Yes.
And Brad Larondo, he gave me a different term today, so I got to get used to that as well. But there is a new official term, I believe, and I'll get more familiar with that as time comes on. But I'm excited. I'm going to be working with Kevin Coleman and Josiah Trotter this season. So
good deal. Seems like good candidates for NIL stuff. Jarod, who are you working with NIL wise this year? Who'd you decide to pay to be our inside sources?
Pay. I'm still trying to get you to get me and Drew this Uno money. Some side, that side money that I know you got to the.
Yeah,
to the
you and Drew we gotta stop having every show be Drew and Jarod try to get me to send them to Vegas. I don't know how this is happening, but look, there are a couple questions. I know in the chat, Tony's asking if you can do out of state homeowners. You're Missouri and Illinois, is that correct?
That's exactly right. Yes.
Okay, there you go. So seriously though, like James handles a lot of my insurance. I switched stuff over to him about a year ago. It's been good so far. I have not had any major catastrophes, but if my house spontaneously combusts because it's 180 degrees outside, I'm going to call James and see what he can do about that. So look, James, a big Mizzou fan, knows a ton about this team and all that. So we want to get together last preseason episode, I guess, fall practice. August camp starts on July 28th. Now, we can't even call it fall camp, can't call it August camp. It's late July. So next Monday, Missouri's going to have its first practice. Jarod and I will be over there. We'll have a show next week. But before we get into it, I want to start here. James, I did hear you on with my friend Tim McKernan yesterday. Is it true that you used to be, for a brief period of time, a sports talk radio guy?
Yeah. So I went to high school in Texas, and I went to Mizzou to be in sports broadcasting. And then I fiddled around and I left with a personal finance degree. But I still wanted to give sports radio a shot, and I worked with Frank Cusimano and Martin Kilcoyne at the time at 590 The Fan, coincidentally here in Webster Groves as well. And I loved it. I swear to you, I loved it. But it was a weird ownership group at the time. There wasn't a lot of room for growth, and I just stumbled upon State Farm in 2008, and I've been there ever since. So yeah, I did dabble a little bit with Martin and Frank.
It's about Jarod's time to be a sports talk radio guy too. Jarod, I got bad news. I just gave somebody else your Twitter handle to line up an interview for you.
Oh yeah, I just seen, and I was thinking, what colleague? I got a hello, Jarod, your colleague, and I'm like, Drew. I was about to hit up Drew.
Well, no, because my name's not on the Power Mizzou Twitter account, so people don't know it. Some people don't know it's me. They just message and think it's all of us. So yeah, that gets handed off to at Jarod C. Hamilton. If you're watching and you want Jarod on your radio show, at Jarod C. Hamilton is where you.
Hey, quick question for you guys while we're
DMs are open.
While we're talking about that, who is the go-to follow for your listeners besides yourselves, of course? Not just for Mizzou, but for college football in general. Who's your favorite follow?
Oh man, that's tough. I mean, I love Dan Wetzel because he's funny and he also does like a lot of big picture stuff. But he's not just college football. Right? I see. I go through about once a year and try to get my follower count under 2,000 because, like,
Wow.
I just randomly will follow people along the way, and then the next year, I try to unfollow recruits as soon as I possibly can, as soon as I go to places. But as far as like media, like I follow almost everybody I see that works for 24/7. Follow most Rivals guys, a lot of On3 guys. Like when somebody commits to Florida, I'm like, why do I follow 19 people that cover the University of Florida? This is ridiculous. What about you, Jarod?
For me, it's mostly other beat writers, just because I feel like that's the information is a little bit more detailed than if it's the national people. Obviously, I do follow some national people, but like when I'm looking through my Twitter, like you said, it's other 24/7 beat writers and then some of the Rivals people. Yeah, that's it. And then I see some say like Cover 3, Josh Pay, like those type of people for sure. But I feel like I got mostly beat writers on mine.
I also feel like we use it for like I use Twitter as a news feed, right? Mm-hmm. I use it, and like I think a lot of fans use it for I want personality, I want funny stuff. Like there's a few like Sickos Committee is awesome. I love following them because it's like completely not news. It's just funny stuff. But for the most part, I think we use it to get news. So it's probably most of our go-to follows would be found probably pretty boring by most of the fans, to be quite honest with you. All right, so let's start here. Speaking of social media, I put up. So Jarod wrote a column this morning, basically asking what game Mizzou fans most want to win this year. Like you pick one game, Missouri wins. What is it? And a few people said Kansas. And so I put out on a poll on Twitter. I said Mizzou goes 11-1, but the one loss is to Kansas. Now we have 3,480 votes in this thing since like 8 a.m. this morning. But James, I want your opinion as a diehard fan on this question before I get to why 47% of the people are absolutely idiotic voting in this poll.
I'm one of those votes, by the way. It was the easiest vote. Absolutely, I would take that. It's hilarious. I think there's still some Buckeye fans that are despondent because of that Michigan game. I will take a natty losing to my rival any day of the week. Are you kidding me? That's a no-brainer.
So, like, that's the comp, right? Is Ohio State, was it 3 straight losses to Michigan?
At
or
least.
Was this 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 3 or 4. So I remember Jarod and I talked before that Ohio State-Michigan game, and I was like, I think if they lose to Michigan, like, there will still be fans that want Ryan Day fired, even if he wins the national title. And that's exactly what happened. Now, I'm sure there probably aren't many of them. I'm sure they're happy. But literally, out of 3,500 people, 47% of the people have said, no, I would not be okay. Like 11-1 means you are unbeaten in the SEC. You are playing in the SEC title game. You are playing for the number 1 seed in the college football playoff. Somebody make me Jarod, make me understand why anybody would vote no in that.
Don't ask me, because I said I don't know why fans want to, big brother Kansas so much. I mean, I know why, but at the same time, I mean, bigger picture. You got to get out your own way and think, yeah, this is I hate these guys as my rival, but how much more stuff do you get from winning all those games and being, competitive in December when it counts? And it's a week 2 game. Like, even if you lose, the worst thing that comes out of that, likely, besides it just being your rival, is we're all going to assume they handle Central Arkansas. So your 11-game home win streak will have ended to your rival. But what is Kansas like? Is anybody thinking Kansas on the same level is going to do anything the same way beating Alabama would? I don't know. Fanatics are going to.
That's the thing. Like, if you're 11-1 and lose to Kansas, that means you've beaten Alabama, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, South Carolina. I mean, and you are in the college, even if you lose the SEC title game, you're in the college football playoff, and Kansas can be in the Bluebonnet Bowl saying, hey, but we beat Missouri. Like, that's seems like a good trade-off to me.
Yeah.
James, I'm glad to know you're one of the same.
I mean, it's just I know there's hatred. I know that rivalry goes back hundreds of years, but that's just silly. Give me the chance to play for a national championship all day long.
So you're from Texas. Like, when did you first learn about MUK?
I don't want to get too deep because I'm not from Texas. I went to high school there. I was actually born here in St. Louis, and then I lived in Wichita, Kansas from 7th through 10th grade. That's where I developed my hatred toward KU. I'd say half my friends went to KU. I'm actually going to be taking a shuttle bus from here in St. Louis on that Saturday morning on 9/6, and I bet there's 3 or 4 at least KU fans on that bus. If Mizzou can't get away with a victory, I might need a place to stay.
Well, we'll find you a place, man. It's good. But I mean, and so Truman says, and put your comments, questions in the chat throughout. We'll get to them. A Mizzou podcast being confused why Mizzou fans despise KU or something. Nobody here is confused. That everybody understands. Look, I grew up in Kansas City. I get why you hate them. Like I grew up with my father hanging a poster in his office that said, "Why do trees in Missouri lean to the west? Because Kansas sucks." Like, I get it, man. I understand the hatred, but all I am saying is if I can tell you today 11-1 and the one is Kansas, you trade that. I feel like this goes back to people like when I was growing up. And Jarod, tell me if you know this, Jarod. Do you know what Missouri, Kansas State football was called like when I was growing up in the 80s? I doubt you do. I don't know why you would. In the 80s and 90s. James, do you know this?
I do not.
Okay. People called Missouri, Kansas, and Kansas State the Bermuda Triangle of college football because, like, literally, if you went 2-9 and beat the other two schools, that was a good year. Like, there were years where the only wins any of those teams were getting were against each other in the Woody Woodenhofer era and such. So I think a lot of it dates back to then when, like, Missouri fans legitimately would go, I mean, we might go 1-10, but if the one is Kansas, that's okay. Because you knew you weren't going to a bowl game. Like, right. You sucked. You weren't going anywhere. So let's get that one. But this is a different deal, man. Like, this program has moved beyond the point where you say, hey, as long as we beat like, nobody starts the year going, as long as we beat Arkansas, it's okay. And I understand Arkansas is a different level, but, like, this program's past that.
Right. If we, I guess, switched up the scenario a little bit and said like 11-1 versus maybe going 8-4, 9-3, but obviously one of those wins is Kansas. How do you think this poll goes from? I didn't see, like, I've seen the poll, but I haven't seen the results right now. Is it 47% they would take?
47% no, and 52.5% yes. Would be happy with 11-1. Yeah.
Okay. Do you think it would flip if we say, 9-3 with the KU win? You're going to miss the playoff, but you get the KU win. Do you think people would still take that?
That's interesting.
Like,
that's interesting. Because, like, some of the people that voted no, what they told me was, well, you didn't say we automatically suck if we beat KU. So what if we beat KU and then we still end up 11-1, 12? Well, you're playing technicalities here. The inference was 11-1, the losses to KU, or you're missing the playoff and you beat KU. Like, I think most people, if those are the two choices, are going to go give me the playoff. But I know some that wouldn't.
Now, in November of 2007, if you guaranteed me that win in Arrowhead and said Mizzou's going to go winless in the next 5 years, I might have taken that. I mean, because that was playing for a national championship, and that was against your biggest rival. But in this scenario, yeah, okay. I'm taking the chance to play for a championship all day.
Right. And I think most people that thought it through probably agree with me. But like Truman says, the alternative is not going 1-11. And I didn't put out. Look, I don't pay for a check mark. I only have 240 characters. I can't write a novel explaining all the differences when I put a poll up. So that's why I didn't do it. But good. I'm glad we are all of sound mind on this show, which means we can move forward with other Mizzou football stuff. So James, I know you were on with Tim and the guys yesterday, and you guys were talking quarterback stuff, and everybody's going to be talking quarterback stuff. Like, do you go into this with a preference or a hope of what unfolds with Missouri's quarterbacks?
No, not at all. But I do appreciate Tim's perspective that if Sam Horn was named the starter, he views that as a positive because it seems like, without question, you bring in a guy with the caliber of Bo Perbula, that he is the front runner. And if Sam has moved forward that much and is that healthy after that injury and has that good of camp and is named the starter, I think that would be a lot to be excited about. That's not to say if Bo Perbula is named the starter that we shouldn't be excited as well. I think that this is a quarterback competition I'm much more excited for than when Brady and Sam were battling. What was that, just 2-3 years ago? So no, I don't have a dog in the fight at all. But I did share that at some of these Tiger lunches that some of your listeners go to with me over here at Llewellyn, some of those alumni that do get more access than you guys in the media, it feels like, on some of these scrimmages. They say they think Sam has a real shot at starting. And it's that's just hearsay, but I thought it was interesting to hear those guys that have a little bit more access and see these scrimmages in real person in real life. So I don't have a dog in the fight, but I do feel like this is the biggest quarterback battle of the Drinkwitz era. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, probably. I mean, year one was kind of, it was like Sean Robinson and Bazelak, and
Bazelak did have a good year,
but that felt like a battle that was like, right, what's the real upside here, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, Sean Robinson started the first game, and Bazelak was after that. But so I think, I don't know, Jarod. I maintain, like, 2 years ago, people think it was a fake quarterback battle. I think it was a legitimate battle. I just think Brady won it pretty early. Like, maybe even in spring ball.
I always felt like Brady had the lead, though. I think this is a little bit more.
But there was a question.
There was a question, but I don't think it's the same. Like, if I'm going for that one, that was maybe like a 60-65% Brady, like, with the lead the entire time. And then for this one, like I said last week, maybe like 55-45 Bo right now, which makes it a little bit more legitimate. And to James' point, like, if Sam wins, you're not going to be like, wow, where did this come from? Like, it'd be okay. You get it. There's reasons behind it, and it would make a lot of people happy because this is obviously a 4-star that Drink has been sitting on for quite a while. So I think this is a lot closer, but I don't think the other one was like, it was a battle, but
well, and what Brady had is he did have that previous season, right? It wasn't a great season,
but he had that season.
He had started. And he had started 14 games.
He could lean on saying, well, I was injured and I still went, I think his TD interception was 14-7, something like that. 2,500 yards or something like that. I can't remember that part as well, but you could lean off of that and say, there was something behind it. I still went 14-7 and I only had 6 healthy quarters all season. So it was a little bit better for him.
Right. Like, you had seen him play. He had been on the field, and that counts for something. So here's my real point, though. Like John says, let the best man win. Like, here's the quarterback you should be invested in, the best one, whoever that is. That is why Eli Drinkwitz makes $9.5 million between July 28th and August 28th. That money is to figure out which guy is the best one. Now, 2 years ago, a lot of people thought he was wrong. Hand up, I wasn't sure he was right when he named Brady Cook the starting quarterback. Like, I didn't see Brady doing what he did, but he was right. So I think he's earned the benefit of the doubt. That I always assume that a coach who is making $9.5 million would like to continue to make $9.5 million. And the best way to do that is to put the best players on the field. I don't know. Maybe my finances are messed up. Maybe he's got enough money and he really likes a guy that's not as good. And maybe he's just going to throw Matt Zollers out there. I don't
know. No, I mean, he did speak highly of him last week, though, of Zollers. So,
like down the road, but not this year.
Could you imagine him crushing a true freshman in spring ball? I mean, of course he's going to speak nicely of him. My goodness.
But like, I think he's going to be good. But if Matt Zoller's out there this year, I don't think that's a very good sign.
It's not. But well, I'll say this. Yeah, coach speak is the whole all season is every player is pretty good basically. But something I've been writing in my articles lately is just when he's talking about certain players or position groups, you see, and we talked about this last week, Gabe. We kind of know whether he's coach speaking or if he actually feels good about something or feels bad about something. Zollers, I mean, yeah, to your point, you don't want to see him anywhere near the field for real this year. But the way he was talking about him was just like, kind of like, I see something in this. I see something in him down the line. Like, I don't feel like this was a wasted time or investment, you know? And all that stuff counts and adds up eventually.
Last thing on this, and I know James, you and Tim kind of talked about this. Yes, Christian says for the amount of money we paid Bo, wouldn't it be a negative for the NIL fund if Horn wins the job? So here's what I said to that on our message board. Like, it's not Eli Drinkwitz's money. Like, he doesn't care. Like, once the games start, he's playing the guys that can give him the best chance to win. But I think the NIL money matters. Like, if it's an exact tie, then yeah, I think you probably play the guy that the donors paid.
Yeah.
So I think Sam has to be better than Bo. But also, let's not pretend Sam's probably here for free either.
Right. He's got to win the job out. But this is something I was thinking of like why fans care. It's just like in the NFL. If your favorite team pays a receiver or something, $20 million or top of the market or something like that, you want to see that guy on the field. You want to see why your team invested all that. Obviously, college is a little bit, a little different, but it's still, you want to see who you're giving all this money to. I would also say to Christian's point, though, if Drink picks, let's say Horn is the right quarterback for the job, if he wins games, you're just going to get all the NIL money back.
Right.
It's going to stay. So it doesn't matter too much besides in the locker room saying, this guy and this guy, but you'll make it back.
So James, if Josiah Trotter does not start the Central Arkansas game at linebacker, are you sending Drinkwitz a text that's like, "Yo, what are you doing with my NIL money, Eli?"
No, I am peanuts in his world, but no, I just want the team to win. I mean, like that, you're trying to get them in the best position to win as a fan, and trust me, I mean, Kurt Warner they made a movie about him, right? By week 3 or week 4 of 1999, nobody cared about any contracts or he went to college or anything like that. I mean, they were lighting it up. Give me that all day long. And I'm rooting for both these kids. I listen to Bo on that podcast with the Pennsylvania guy. He sounds like a great young man, a great leader, dedicated to the program. I'm super stoked for him. We don't really hear from Sam much. Have you guys talked to Sam much?
I did like a podcast with Sam a year and a half ago, something like that. It was pretty good. Like he was an engaging kid. We haven't talked to him much since then. You've talked to him a little bit, I think, Jarod, maybe.
I want to say like how we got the media scrum this week. I think maybe 23, the beginning. When they were having that QB battle. I think Jay Garcia was the other one in that. So that's the only time I've talked to him. So it's been a couple of years basically. Jay
Garcia, Michigan Wolverine these days.
Oh man.
So all right, this is a good segue to with James said he's working with Josiah Trotter, Kevin Coleman. Like I think there were two guys 2 years ago. It was Cody Schrader. Last year, I think Brady Cook and Luther Burden were both kind of the face of this program. Who's the face of Missouri football going into this year? I mean, and I don't know. Like, I don't have a definite answer.
So let me ask you, when you say face, are we talking about like the face in like you're the most talented, or the face in
like the guy that's on the ESPN promo? It's not Eli Drinkwitz's, right? The guy that, hey, player X in the Missouri Tigers go to Norman, Oklahoma to face, John Mateer in the Oklahoma.
Okay. I think, and we can add in the video game hype because I really think that's a thing. Ahmad Hardy, like, again, we don't know what he looks like at this level, but with everything he did at ULM and again, the video game hype and his rating and stuff like that, and he plays running back and stuff like that, I can see them at the beginning, at least, that being the guy? Because the reason I asked you that question was, well, you just say Caden Green, but no one wants to put a left guard per se.
That was going to be my question. Can a left guard be the I feel like you've got to be Orlando Pace to be an offensive lineman and be the face of a team.
And even then, no one would love the idea that you're, tackle or, whatever is the face. But yeah, no, Orlando Pace could pass for that.
James, fan perspective, man, who's the first guy? And more about this roster than average Joe fan probably does, but who's the first guy you think of?
That's a great point. As an average Joe, I feel like it kind of has to be a holdover, not a transfer, to be the face of the program, right? And Hardy might be the best player on the team, at least on the offensive side of the ball. Jarod was down there, and he talked to Dalen Carnell. I mean, right now that would be my answer. Just because the guy's been here the whole time, he's a well-spoken young man. He plays every freaking down. I think that would be my answer at this point.
Well, I would have to say,
I think that's probably right. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just think it depends who's pushing this because, again, based on SEC media polls and all that stuff, I don't think players like DC probably getting the respect or the eyes from everybody else around. They're not getting that recognition or that, coverage to know we're going to put DC as Dalen Carnell and the Tigers. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's not the same hype as, again, maybe even Catalan because you're third team All-American. Yeah. Or Hardy, who, 12th in rushing, high 4-star transfer and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I do think DC is a good pick.
So maybe we settle here. If you're marketing this game to Missouri fans who know this team, I think it's Dalen Carnell. Yeah. If you are marketing this game to, we're trying to get people who are just average college football fans to watch the game, I don't know that there's a guy on Missouri's roster that resonates with that person right now. Now, by week 7, there might be. But Luther Burton, I don't think even most Missouri fans understand what a celebrity this kid was, nationwide. Everybody knew who Luther Burton was. And I don't think Missouri has anything close to that right now, which does not mean that they don't have really good players. They just don't have a guy. At the beginning of 2023, nobody knew who Cody Schrader was. But by week 8, man, every game was Cody Schrader's. We heard Cody Schrader's story 900,000 times in the last 6 weeks of that year.
Right.
So that guy can emerge. So kind of different. This is a different question, though, and you guys kind of touched on it. Who's the best football player on this team? Because last year, to me, even though it wasn't his year, Luther Burton was the best football player on that roster.
Correct.
Right? I don't think there's any question about it. So just, it doesn't have to be by stats. Just who is the best pure football player on this roster, do you guys think?
It's probably Caden. That's what it's trending to be.
Could be.
And on the other side of the ball,
Ahmad Hardy.
Damon Wilson.
I know Ahmad Hardy is the guy, but I guess Caden has all the preseason stuff plus the draft stuff that's going with it when I think about it.
What James, what about your guy Kevin Coleman? I think he belongs in this conversation.
Yeah, the guy's played for a lot of teams, just like Catalan has. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, you're good. We got you.
Okay.
He may not hear us.
Yeah, so he's played for a lot of teams like Catalan has. Sorry, I got a little bit of a choppy connection here. But, Damon Wilson is the guy I think Drinkwitz would say is going to be his highest draft pick, probably. Maybe not better than Armand Mimbu, but right up there. I think when I saw him at a speaking engagement, he just acted like Damon Wilson was a surefire first rounder. So I'm excited to see him play. But I haven't seen him much outside of Georgia. So who knows? But there's so many weapons on that defense. Yeah.
That's the hard thing with this roster is there are so many guys that we're I don't know. I haven't really seen him play. He's new. I don't know what to think of him just yet. Tony nominates Connor Tollison. That's not bad. He's in the conversation. Joshua agrees with Kevin Coleman, but I think that's what makes this more interesting than some of the years past is there is so much unknown. it won't shock me if this team is 11-1 with the loss not to Kansas, and it won't shock me if they're 7-5. Like because I do think there has to be some reason that the Vegas over under is 7-5 or 7.5, and the under is more popular than the over. I saw a guy did like 100,000 simulations of the season, and Missouri averaged like, I don't know, 7.2 wins or something like that. So, like, I understand why this is the time of year, right, where, like, James, you're a Missouri fan, so you're sitting here going, well, I know Dalen Carnell, and I know what Damon Wilson's supposed to be, and I know what Ahmad Hardy's going to be. You know all these unknown guys, so you're looking at the positive. But, like, I don't know anything about the unknown guys at Tennessee or LSU or Ole Miss, right? Like, they might have a bunch of dudes down there that actually end up being really good that I just don't know who the hell they are right now.
Well, it's a lot of decal bias. Remember, I mean, that's why I feel like so many people are just at 12th. I still won't really get over 12th, or how Auburn is 11, or how Florida, with the hardest schedule in the country, is top. I get DJ Lagway, I really do, but
sure.
What about what have you done for me lately? What have we seen with the rosters you have, with the coach you have? How do you win? How do you go 21-5, and you got one of the top recruiting classes? You got a top 7 transfer class. I mean, transfer class. How do you have that and a coach who's winning and they're just 12? For what reason? Besides, people don't have a superstar to say, oh, Luther Burden and the Tigers or whatever.
So there's 2 reasons for that. The first one, and James, if you listen to Tim's show this morning when I was on, you were disqualified from providing the answer here. But Jarod, do you know what the difference between 4th place and 9th place in the SEC was last year?
No.
Tiebreakers. That's it. There was a 6-way tie at 5-3. So, like, my point is, you could finish 12th and you could be a game out of 5th. So, like, I think a good team is going to finish 12th. So I think that's part of it. I'm not sure that's huge disrespect because, like, that's going to be a logjam. But the other part is real simple. Why are they 12th? Because it's Missouri. Like, it is. And it's not just decal bias. It's these guys who've been covering the SEC for 18 years are like, nah, man, like South Carolina was in this league when I was growing up, and Arkansas was in this league when I was growing up, and Ole Miss has Lane, and they just don't think about Missouri, which kind of I saw, and I posted on our message board. Drink did an interview with Rick Neuheisel, and the first thing he said, and James, you're frozen. I'm going to take you out for a minute and have you come back. I will shoot James a text, but he did an interview with Rick Neuheisel, and he said, at Missouri, you always have something to prove, whether it's to your teammates or the fans or the media or whatever. And like, I'm normally against the, hey, nobody believes in us thing all the time. But I actually think there is some merit to it here. Like, I think that motto of something to prove, chip on my shoulder, actually really works for Eli Drinkwitz, who didn't play college football, and for the Missouri football program. I think it fits here a lot better than it fits a lot of places.
I agree.
James, I don't know how much of that you caught because
I got knocked off, and I'm on my phone now. But I apologize for that.
Yeah, no, but my point was that, like, I think that Drinkwitz in this something to prove thing, like, he's still riding it in year 3, but he's riding it because it makes sense, because Missouri does still feel that way all the time.
Right.
Absolutely.
And he said something at SEC Media Day is just like, basically up until this past season, like, I cared what people thought about my team or whatever. I don't care anymore. Which is if you're putting out the results, then yeah, why do you care about a poll that you and I, Gabe, I feel like the last 2-3 weeks we've been going on tour about how we need to destroy SEC Media Days in any polling until like week 8 or 9.
No question. And I want to get this out there. Jarod voted him 6th. I think I probably would have voted him about 7th. So I want that on this podcast on record so that in week 9, if they're sitting 7-1, Eli Drinkwitz can't point at us and say, you guys didn't think we were going to be any good. That was the dudes at SEC Media Day. We actually think this team's going to be pretty good.
Correct.
All right. Let's take a fun interlude here before we get to football. James and I have a disagreement we've got to settle. Jarod, have you ever seen the movie Billy Madison?
I have it.
All right, you got to fix that. James, you are insulting like cinematic history. I believe you said that Billy Madison does not hold up. It's not enjoyable in the year 2025.
Yeah, Jackson has a movie podcast now. And I said, hey, one thing to think about for a topic is, hey, in my mind was Billy Madison. So guilty as charged there.
Well, I'm disappointed. I still watch Billy Madison. Adam Sandler is solid. And James, I tell you what, man, your internet is super choppy. Appreciate you hanging out. We're gonna go ahead and let you run. I had to get the Billy Madison thing in there, but we're gonna let you run. And Jarod and I will finish out. But do appreciate your time, and we're gonna have James on a couple times during the year, and want to make sure that you guys do get in touch with him. If you got insurance needs, all that, once again, carltoninsurance.net, facebook.com/Carlton Insurance. Give him a call, 314-961-4800. Appreciate James hopping in with us. But technical things happen to everybody. So Jarod and I are going to finish out the last 15, 20 minutes here on our own. Jarod, I have completely forgotten what other topics we had to discuss. I don't know if we had any other topics to discuss. What do you got, man? What's going on in your world?
Oh, well, yeah. I'm about to say, yeah, why do people care who plays? Yeah, we've gone through it. At this point, it's just, like I told you, I'm ready for this weekend so we can start getting to stuff. Preview season for everybody else it feels like maybe July. For me, it's like mid-January. So, I'm kind of done going through things. You guys brought up Josiah Trotter quite a bit. I did back to the over-under series tomorrow with Josiah Trotter. The numbers he's going to have to hit, I think it's going to be not hard to get them, but I think it's going to be unlikely to get them. But I want people to understand that he had a really good season. The last 5 top linebackers that Drink has had over the last 5 seasons have been pretty impactful players. We talk about Blaze, Nick Bolton, Tyron Hopper, Tristan Newsom's in there a little bit, Chuck Hicks is in there a little bit for specific stats. I think he'll have a good season. Hitting some of these numbers will be difficult, but not impossible. And I think that's part of that is because of depth. I mean, as much as he talks about the depth, but I think he's going to be.
I think they're going to play a lot of guys on defense for sure.
Yeah, I think so. When y'all see that tomorrow, don't hate me. It's for a good reason. It's for a good reason.
All right. So on Sunday at Media Day, Eli Drinkwitz, all the staff, most of the upperclassmen. Look, guys, it's going to be a lot of guys. We're not going to promise that we can talk to everyone. We're going to do the best we can. We're going to get as many guys as possible, get you guys as much content throughout fall camp as we can. First practice is on Monday. We'll give you as much as we can from practice. We don't really know exactly what that's going to look like, and we're not going to try to draw any conclusions we can't draw up. Kyle says, what record would it take for this to be considered the best 3-year stretch in Mizzou football history? So, I think 9 wins would probably do that. I'm trying to think, like 2013 and 14 were really good, but 2012 and 2015 were bad. The best 3-year stretch right now is probably like 2006, 7, 8, where I think they won 8 games, 11 games, and 10 games. I know that they have never won 10 games 3 years in a row. And Drink has talked about that. I think that's the target, right? Whether 10, obviously the goal is 10 in the regular season and then get in the playoff, and who knows what you can do But even if last year is a repeat of this year and it's 10 with a bowl game with the first year quarterback, like nobody's done that in Missouri history, man.
I think it's 9 because what you just said about what you said 06 to 08, that's what 29 wins.
Something
Yeah,
like
I guess 9 would make 30 wins over the last 3 years. So I guess that is technically, the right answer. I was thinking the 10-win things because just the history that would go with that. I think if they win the 10th game in the bowl game, it's more of the difference between winning your 10th game in a regular season and in the bowl game. It feels like in the bowl game, it's like we're maintaining a certain level. I don't know if you're going up necessarily, but you're maintaining where you're at. Getting 10 wins in the regular season, which would have you in a good chance to make the playoff, is more about still going upwards,
And I think to be the best 3-year stretch in school history, I think they have to make the playoff. Like the number of wins they could top without getting there, but 2007 was number 1 in the country playing for a spot in the national title. Like that makes that better than just 29 wins. So I think to top that 06 to 08 or 07 to 09, you pick whichever one you want, because they won 8 and 09 as well. But to top that, I think Missouri has to be in the playoff. Now, if they go 9-3 during the regular season and all that, then I think, you're close. The wins are there, but I think the height of 07 changes.
Is this like I know it's a different sport, but is this like 72-10 Chicago Bulls, 73-9 Warriors, where like one has a significant, even though they got that extra loss, they won a championship versus the Warriors who they have the record, but it falls flat. I'm not saying anything about Missouri in the championship, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's why I think, you've got to get in that playoff to – and if they do get in the playoff, like no questions asked, best 3-year run in school history, everything else is playing for second place, no doubt about it. So I guess we'll finish with this, and like I understand it is way too soon and we're just taking guesses here. But to me, I was thinking about this earlier. If the playoff is the goal, and I think it's the goal, whether it's realistic or not, I don't know, but it's the goal. I think it's got to be 10. I think last year showed us with this lineup of opponents, I think too many teams are going to win too many games for 9-3 to get Missouri in.
When you consider that and how this schedule shapes up, I wrote about that a little bit today. You get a chance to 6 straight games at home, including a bye. You got to take advantage of that. And your schedule, like the fact that 2 years in a row, you've got no Tennessee, no Ole Miss, no Georgia, no Texas,
no LSU.
Like, if any time is now where you can still say, I'm in the SEC and I did this and that, it's right now. Because once this flips around and you add up the, those hitters again, it gets harder and harder every year.
But and that's again where the schedule is a blessing and a curse. The schedule gives you maybe a better chance than the talent says you would otherwise have. But also, you can't 9-3 is probably not good enough. 9-3 wasn't good enough last year. I don't think 10-2 would have been good enough last year because of the way the two came. But I think 10-2. I think 10-2 is most likely good enough.
Because if it's 10-2 and maybe only one blowout loss,
right?
10-2.
Don't embarrass yourself twice.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sounds
and I would be very surprised if that. I'll also be interested to see if there is a correction after what Indiana did in the playoff. I think there are a lot of. I will be interested to see if the committee overcorrects and leans more into strength of schedule this year than it did last year, right? Like if they see 11-1 out of the ACC this year, go. No, man, we got burned by that last year. We're not going to make that mistake again.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. 9-3 again. We're not talking about that. 9-3 gets us back to Nashville and the Music City Bowl, where we really want to be. Vegas.
Gator Bowl. Yeah, I don't know if they're in Vegas this year. The SEC is not in Vegas every year. This may not be a Vegas Bowl year.
Sigh. Yeah, well, the Gator Bowl. Who was in that? Was it the Outback Bowl? Was it when it was Illinois and who was he going against? Where Brett and the other coach was Shane Beamer. It was South Carolina.
Oh, South Carolina. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did forget about that. That's the only thing I remember about that game. I don't even know who won the game.
Exactly. Me neither. And I watched it. But yeah, 10 wins, no embarrassing, ideally no embarrassing losses, maybe one. And that loss, let's just say it's to Alabama, like that blowout loss. It can't be an egg because what was it, 38-0, 34 or something like that. If it's maybe,
I'll be honest, I quit paying attention to that game in the third quarter. I don't remember.
Maybe if it's like a 34-17, like you got beat up, but you were there.
Yeah.
You can get by maybe.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, look, I've already put Jarod on notice. This is his time, man. He's going to put the rest of us on his back and carry us here for a few weeks leading up to the football season. He is going to have tons of stuff. I'll be alongside to help him out now and again. But this is Jarod's been resting up for fall camp to start. 100% health. You ready to go? Everything set? Got the fingers ready to type?
I think I got carpal tunnel now. I can't do it.
we got bad news that I've seen multiple comments from Drew that you guys were rolling at the Arc today, so I got to give you a minute.
Yeah, so I was doing Magic Johnson like dimes today. Drew as my witness on the receiving end of these dimes. A lot of heen going along, a lot of behind the back passes, getting to the cup. It was great. It was beautiful. Thank you.
Oh, good. All right, so Jarod's getting his basketball game in. I'm still not sending him to Vegas for the Uno tournament, but appreciate you guys hanging out and appreciate James joining us. And again, technical issues, so he had to duck out a little bit early. But we always have fun talking to James, and hope you guys kind of enjoy the different perspective. Most of our most popular shows tend to be when somebody besides us is on them. Like, people like that a lot more because other people are a lot more fun than we are. But check out James at carltoninsurance.net. Give him a call, 314-961-4800. Like he said, you give him if he gives you a quote, you tell him you heard about it on Power Mizzou. He's going to give a little money to Mizzou NIL. He's working with Josiah Trotter and Kevin Coleman this year. So you want to help Mizzou's NIL efforts out. You want to save a little bit of money on your insurance. You get in touch with James. Appreciate you guys being here with us tonight. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Join us over at Power Mizzou, guys. This is the time, 30% off for a little while, and who knows, maybe some deals coming up, but make sure to hang out with us as we get going. Fall camp opens on Monday. Talk to you later.